Ah, yes. Green Day. So I found this thing on Instagram the other day, which I have right here on my phone. I hope it's clear enough to see. But it's been pissing me off ever since. Because it's like, oh, you should draw smooches more often, because it's basically just a heart. And I'm sitting there going like, literally that's one of the most difficult things I've ever had to draw. And I don't draw it often because it's difficult to draw. And then they're like, literally like, oh no, it's super easy. And I'm like, damn it. So I thought I would start off today's live stream by drawing a smooch. And this is my favorite one off of 21st Century Breakdown. I don't know. I just like it. I think it's neat. Let's see. I gotta get the live chat up here. Oh, hello. Hello. I am now oh wait, no, that's your username. Okay, good. I'm like, I'm not senpai. No. But anyways, okay. You know, honestly, I'm gonna shut the camera off just for a minute because I will feel better about myself. But you will still be able to hear me, hopefully. I mean, you should be able to, if I set this thing up correctly. There we go. Okay. So, this is still making me mad. I'm like, really, this whole time I've been struggling drawing this, and I could have literally, it's just a heart. You gotta be kidding me. To be fair though, I don't know. I don't usually draw smooches. I like this chick in the hoodie though. There we go. So I'm just gonna block out the shapes. I haven't drawn anything at all today, so this is basically my warm-up drawing. It is just a frickin' heart. That is such a piss off. Where was this tutorial when I was in high school? Because that's when I like drawing smooches. All the time. Let's see. Or at least I would have if I knew how to draw them. Oh, hello. Other amino friend. Hello. Alright. Shoulder, and so I'm gonna be live streaming from like now till about, it's 11:30 where I am, and I will be live streaming probably till about 2. I think 2 will be okay because I gotta go to work and make the money so I can pay for my freaking fancy art pencils. It's very important. Because I can't draw without my, well, I could draw without fancy pencils, but I also can't afford the cheap pencils if I don't make money. It's kind of important to have a little bit of money to buy art supplies with. Okay, and his hand there. Sometimes I make weird noises when I draw, so I hope you're all ready for that. Wee. Okay. Bloop. Okay. This guy has a beautiful nose. So I actually did not like this album when it first came out. Like, I listened to it and I was like, meh, this is alright. I'm like, but I don't like it that much. And then my sister, she got concert tickets, and I wasn't really ready to go, but I don't remember what happened. I ended up going, and I was like, well, I mean, it'll be alright, it'll be fun, I guess. And then, like, after the show, I was just in love with this album. It was kind of weird. I had to see them perform it live to actually like the album. I am drawing this album cover in the bottom right hand corner. Oops, I got all my controls. I got two monitors set up, so there, I'll zoom in, make it more clear. Got my reference in the corner for you. I'm essentially drawing two Green Day fans macking out. I'm assuming they're Green Day fans. Because if they're not, they're going to be really pissed that they're on the cover of a Green Day album. Like, what's this? This isn't punk. Because punk is arguing what punk is. Remember that. That is what it is. That is my conclusion after many years of listening to punk music. So I assume as my brain starts to wake up more that I'll actually start talking about actual drawing process here, but I am not awake yet, so I'm just blocking in shapes. And he's got fuzzy hair. Okay. I think they had like a musical for American Idiot into 21st Century Breakdown, which still is interesting to me. I really like music. A lot. I just started playing music a couple weeks ago on ukulele, and I'm addicted. And what doesn't help is my workplace actually has ukuleles literally everywhere. So there's actually been a few nights I've been at work and I just literally dropped what I was doing and I'm like, I'm gonna go play this ukulele now. And in fact, it was one night I was just going through music because I've been working really late lately. And I'm like, I'll just go back to what I was listening to in like 2009-ish. And then I ended up on 21st Century Breakdown. And I was listening to Last Night on Earth. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I know the chords to this. Like, I think I could play this. And so dropped all my work and found a ukulele that was in tune. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And it turns out I did know how to play it. How about that? I mean, it was kind of like rough the first time through, but I've been practicing. You know. I will draw cartoons, but you know, it's going to be a kind of longer live stream. I want to try to start doing a regular Thursday live stream thing. I'm still pissed that drawing a smooch is just like drawing a heart. And I'd never realized it until, of all things, I'm sitting there on Instagram and it's like, oh, here you go. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. Darn it. It's so obvious now. I really want to draw, I think I want to draw Black Hat today. Because I haven't had a chance to draw Black Hat in a while. And, I mean, I might draw Dementia just because obligatory have to draw Dementia. And, yeah. And my cat is meowing at the door. I'm probably gonna have to go let him out, or he's gonna meow for the next 2 hours all the way through the live stream. Okay, I think I'm finally getting to the point where I can actually just start doing the... Let's see. Oh, I see. It's kind of grainy, but her hoodie kind of overlaps. That makes sense. There you go, Tori. Brain's turning on. I have very confusing feelings towards the All-American Rejects. Oh, in case anyone's, like, total non sequitur. I am keeping track of the live chat. I will say hello to you if you're in the live chat for anyone who might be lurking. Yeah, I don't really... Oh god, it's... All-American Rejects are something that did not age well at all. And, or at least in my opinion, I really don't think they did. I was listening, well, like... Oh, hey, DZ! Why are you lurking not saying anything? You know I'm always happy to see your icon in my live chat. But anyways, okay, yeah, All-American Rejects. Like, I don't want to be mean. I just, like, I don't know what to say. Well, I guess as a good example, the other day I was, cause, I was talking to somebody about, like, early 2000s crap, and, somehow we were, like, on the subject of how there's the memes where someone's holding a sign, and, like, you know, people edit the sign, and all I could think of was the All-American Rejects video, Dirty Little Secret, where they're all holding up the signs, and it's supposed to be, like, all confessional or whatever. And I've always had a problem with that that video, because it's like he's singing about basically taking advantage of a girl, and then but like they're all holding up signs that are supposed to be like, I know one of them's like, I miss feeling close to God, and I'm like, and that's like the backdrop is him going, you know, I'll keep you my dirty little secret. Oh yeah, YouTube really is being dumb with notifications, Danzig. You are right. And yeah, most early 2000s punk bands haven't aged well, but what I love about it is that, like, I still get people going, like I was talking to my sister the other day, and she's all like, man, I miss the music of the early 2000s, and I'm sitting there going, like, she's like, it was, like, so good. I'm like, yeah, My Humps is an early 2000s classic. Let's just keep that in mind when we're talking about the early 2000s. Like, we had some stinkers. But yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place because I feel very passionate about nostalgia and killing it. But, yeah, like, the Dirty Little Secret video is definitely, like, one of those ones that just bugs me, especially now. Like, because he's like, I'll keep you my dirty little secret, don't tell anyone, or you'll be just another regret. It's like, and then there's people going like, I miss feeling close to God. I mean, there's a lot of stupid ones in there too, like, there was one, I pee in the sink, which got a funny reaction out of the person I was showing it to. They're like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what we were smoking in the early 2000s, I can't remember. But yeah, it wasn't, you know. But, oh god, yeah, 90s nostalgia. Oh my god, 90s kids chart. Like, what I hate is, like, I was, like, borderline 90s kid into the 2000s. So, like, I have some 90s nostalgia. And I used to kind of be, like, I used to be pretty bad with the 90s nostalgia stuff. But, like, honestly, lately, like, all my nostalgia is dead. Like, whenever it's like, do you remember, like, the 2000s? Or do you remember the 90s and how great it was? And I'm like, yeah, I remember, like, good stuff, but I also remember there was a lot of other shitty stuff going on, like, with everybody, with the world, with life, with, you know, like, it's like, I think pining for the past is a terrible idea. Oh yeah, and back on the subject of, oh, we will have early 2000s nostalgia, Danzig, we will. It's already, like, starting to happen. But, like, I mean, there's stuff about the early 2000s I liked. I mean, that's kind of the thing, though. It's like, there's stuff you'll like, and there's... But you can't sit there and be like, oh, yesterday was better than today. Because it's like... No, it's not. Like, literally, every day something gets better. I mean, even if it seems like things are getting worse, at one point it's like, no, every day things are getting better. It's just, it takes time. And, you know, shit hits the fan, and then it gets scattered everywhere, and then we clean it up, and then things are a lot better, you know? It's just kind of like, I'm too old for this. I don't know. I think people who get nostalgic, like, I think there's something more to it. Like, I think it's more of just pining for a time when, like, you know, they're like, oh, well, I didn't have to think about things back then, so it was better. And I'm like, I disagree. I like now very much. All American Rejects, though. I'm not done with them. I am not done with the All American Rejects, because the other thing is, like, most of their songs are literally just, like, terrible songs. Like, I think I like Swing Swing. That's okay. But, like, another one of their big hits was Gives You Hell. And I remember I had just gone through, like I was teenage girl phase, okay? So, like, I had just gone through a really bad breakup. And I remember, and, like, in the span of a bus ride to school, I was like, yes, I love this song, and yes, this is the best song ever. But then by the time I'd, like, because, like, I could never stay angry very long, even then. But I remember, like, in the span of a bus ride, I'm like, geez, All American Rejects, like, get over yourself. Gives You Hell? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, just move on. Get a better freaking girlfriend, you dumbass. Like, quit being an asshole. But, I remember that was, like, the shortest amount of time I've ever gone from liking a song to hating a song. It was 20 minutes. And keep in mind, this was not back in the streaming days where it's like I just looked it up on YouTube. Like, I had, like, illegally downloaded it on FrostWire the night before, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna listen to this tomorrow on the bus. I'm so excited. And then I listened to it on the bus, and then I was like, I don't like this song anymore. Like, you bitter dumbass. When you see my face, I'll give you hell. Just get a better girlfriend, you dum-dum. Move on. Oh, you were a LimeWire guy? Oh, I bet you did have plenty of viruses then. See, wasn't it much better back in the day, Danzig? I mean, come on. Like, we had, like, shitty illegal ways of downloading music that, like, were the only ways to get free music. And, like, we got viruses on our computer, and then, like, our parents killed us because we just destroyed our brand new laptop downloading free music because they wouldn't buy it for us. And, you know, it's like, wasn't it such a good time? It was no, it wasn't. It was terrible. Like, I mean, I would have freaking murdered for one of these things right here. Even this is a piece of shit one. And, like, I would have, like... I have Google in my pocket. I can like, I remember, like, oh, I'm gonna have to Google this later. I remember, like, saying that as a sentence. Now I'm just like, oh, I don't know what kind of tree that is. I'm gonna Google it right now. Oh, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna Google it right now. Where are we going? I have Google Maps. Like, that's freaking beautiful. Like, remember MapQuest? You're about to go on a road trip and you're like, oh, let's go on MapQuest and look up the directions before we go. Or even before that. Oh, do we have a road atlas? Like, come on. This is why, like, when people start talking about nostalgia, like, honestly, I've gone out of my way to just try and kill all my nostalgia. I think the one nostalgic thing I have trouble killing, though, emo hair. And not all emo hair. Like, there's that early 2000s emo hair that's, like, literally... But, like, emo bangs, I don't know. They make me dumb. They really do. Like, I see an emo bang and it's like, oh, look, a rainbow! And I just stare in awe for a minute. Like, oh, it's so cute. They make me dumb. But, I mean, other than that, I don't know. And, I mean, thank God that's only a temporary dumb. Like, I get over it pretty quick. But it's pretty funny if you ever are hanging out with me and someone with emo hair walks by. I make a pretty comical expression. I have not seen the Hey Arnold Jungle movie yet. I have not. You know, who remembers the Plain White Tees? Nobody? Yeah, that's because pretty much all their music was pretty mundane. I want to see the Hey Arnold Jungle movie, but I just, like, haven't gotten the time to see it yet. Yeah, I kind of figured you're talking about the Plain White Tees, because nothing describes the Plain White Tees better than generic. And I mean, like, I think they know that. I think that's why their name is the Plain White Tees, but it's like, I can't... Oh, I remember. It was one day, God, someone was playing You Are My Sunshine. You know, it was just like, you know, they were practicing playing, I forgot what instrument it was. I forgot everything about the moment, but what I remember about it was I'm sitting there and realized all the notes to You Are My Sunshine are literally the same notes for Hey There Delilah. And I sat there and I went, you gotta be kidding me. Like... I'm kind of having that moment a lot now, though, that I've been playing ukulele more. It's like I figured out the chords to Let It Be the other day by accident. I was just like running through the chords I knew, and then I went, wait a minute. And I was like, oh shit, I know how to play a Beatles song by accident. Oh well. I don't know what's going on with this hand right now. I remember, I did know a girl, though, who, like, got to see, like, the Plain White Tees before anyone knew who the hell they were. And that was pretty cool, because, like, she was, like, you were literally, like, 5 feet away from them. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And, I mean, that was pretty neat. I mean... But, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't have that... like, I just thought it was kind of cool to know someone who was like, oh, yeah, like, we were, like, 5 feet away. It was cool. Because that would be cool. And I've never confirmed if this is true, but I really hope it is. Because it makes me laugh, like, maniacally. I heard that he wrote Hey There Delilah for, like, his girlfriend. And, like, she broke up with him, like, right when it came out. And I don't know why, but that just makes me cynically laugh. Like, oh my god. Because it was, I mean, it was a big hit, so, like, that's really funny. I don't know that, I've never heard of that one, Danzig, but that is pretty freaking funny. Hey there, Delilah. It's just Doug Walker with Hey There, Delilah. Alright, then. Okay, I think I'm just about warmed up drawing here. And talking, because, like, I love talking. Oh, yeah, old school trolling. Remember the Rickroll? Truth be told, like, the Rickroll never really worked on me because I was just like, alright. Like, I listened to, like, at that point, like, the Caramel Dancin' on repeat, because I don't know why. You'll have to go back in time and have me explain myself, because I don't know how I did that, but I was used to, like, high-pitched, annoying techno noises. So, you know, but, yeah, the Rickroll never worked on me. I always thought, I was just like, alright, I guess I'm listening to this now. Old school trolling did kind of have that, like, charm, because, like, nowadays it's like video editing software is pretty easy to come by. It's pretty much everywhere. And, like, so back then when, like, people would do that, like, they actually had to put effort. No matter how stupid it was, they had to put effort into it because technology just blew, so you had to be very creative. Oh hey, I think I'm almost done with the drawing. Like, I haven't really, my brain's been on autopilot. Drawing, for the drawing, like, burp, oops. Oh well, I mean, I think I screwed up his nose, but oh well, I mean, this is just a warm-up. I didn't really, wasn't like, oh, I have to get this 100% right. This is just, I need to wake up and remember how to draw. Because every morning I wake up and I forget, and if I don't draw, then I forget for the day. So it's very important that I draw at least a little bit every day. Daw, they make kissy face. I'm sorry. I crack myself up, but I think, like, when people hear me crack myself up, I just look insane. So, I mean, it's quite possible I might be a little bit crazy. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, but, like, in all the entertaining ways. Luckily, not like the terrifying ways. Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna stay stupid shit kind of crazy way. Doop-a-doop-doo, I love the fact that I don't have to illegally download music anymore, actually. That, like, it's pretty much just all there. And I have unlimited data, so, like, I just stream it. And my phone screams at me and goes, no, you're using your data. And I'm like, I have unlimited data. And they're like, oh, okay. My phone still warns me about my data usage. And I'm like, I know, phone. I got this. Yeah, I'm gonna call that good. You can all hear my magic box of pencils, but yeah, it's still pissing me off. Apparently you want to draw a smooch, all you have to do is draw a heart. It's right there. Aww. Seeing kids in love. Green Day fans. Or whatever. I don't know. Okay, what should I draw now, guys? I want to draw a black hat, but I just realized Chew. You want me to draw Pikachu? I don't want to draw Pikachu. He's pretty boring to draw. Or she, or whatever he is. Like, I want to draw Black Hat, but I'm kind of afraid to because I'm like, I'm gonna Google a reference for Black Hat, and well, I guess I can just kind of like, I just sneak this over to my other monitor and I'll Google it over here because I know no matter what, I'm gonna get some sort of, I'm gonna get something porny. And y'all can look that up on your own time, not on my live stream. Not on my Christian Minecraft live stream. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we'll just go with the basic one. That'll work. Ta-da! There we go. Okay. Bleep. There he is. I'm not drawing that guy, Danzig. That made me leave your stream, as you might recall. I bailed from your stream, like, super fast. I mean, I was also at work, too, so it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be, like, at work and then my boss walks up behind me and I have to be like, no, it's not me, it's just my weird-ass friend putting that on his stream. Like, yeah, that's gonna work really well. I mean, they really like me at my work, but I don't think they, I do not think they like me that much where they would let me get away with that. Ugh. Okay. Draw some black. I don't know. What should black hat? I don't know. Wake me up inside. There's something from the early 2000s that just never seems to die. Evanescence's Bring Me to Life. What a beautiful, beautiful song that is. Okay. I'm still not awake. This Coca-Cola is not working. I need more. Okay. Alright. I don't know why, but I keep looking at my red colored pencils, so I'm switching. It's my Caran d'Ache. It's the name of this pencil. It's a Caran d'Ache. They're like $4 a frickin' pencil. I don't know why I like them, but I do. But I don't buy the sets. Like, I buy like one at a time, like every once in a while. But maybe just like... See, I pull up the reference, but I'm not just gonna like draw the reference. Because... Oh wait, I always forget, his hat is really tall, so we're gonna want to scale that down a bit. I'm gonna get really messy with my lines now. Hope you all like messy, dirty lines on my Christian live stream. I think that's one of my favorite meme things. It's just not on my Christian Minecraft server. I don't know why, it just makes me laugh. So I did a whole breakdown on dementia, and I know I had a few people ask me to do a whole breakdown on Black Hat, and I was so tired from the dementia one that I was like, probably, yeah, I could probably do that, but I was like, no, I don't want to do this, but I'm not feeling so tired. Maybe I should. And honestly, the villainous community is super nice on Amino. I've actually really enjoyed my interactions there, so I think I should do more for them. I mean, I've done a lot for the Star community already, which those are pretty much my two main communities now. Amino is a strange place, but I like it. I think it's pretty neat. A lot of crazy people in Amino, but I mean, that's pretty much the internet for you, right? And I'm gonna pull his collar up super high. I'll keep it right there for now. And he kind of has a neck, but he kind of doesn't have a neck for some reason. Honestly, I don't understand how Discord works, Danzig. Could you educate me? Because, like, I kind of get it, but, like, like, I get it. It's a chat for gamers. It's supposed to be, like, a voice chat. I get that much. What I don't get is, like, I see people go join my Discord server, and I'm like, and the problem is I get the concept enough to be like, this sounds like a terrible idea, because it's voice chat, and then you join the server. I'm like, is it just a cacophony of people talking over each other? Because that sounds horrifying. Oh yes, I just want to be clear right now for everyone. Oh, you can have separate voice calls on the same server. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Amino's got voice chat now, and I've tried that a little bit, and honestly, I'm very confused by the concept. Like, it's cool, but I'm also very, like, I joined this one, and it was a cacophony of sound. Farewell, person. I'll even type it. Farewell. So, no, but I joined a voice chat on Amino, and it was like just a cacophony of sound, and it was just like people screaming at each other, and like it wasn't on purpose, but like some people had different connection speeds, and it was like terrifying, and I was like, oh, okay. All right then. I guess this is life, and I left. You're staying forever? I'm so glad to hear that, Danzig. I mean, it would be pretty sad if you... I actually would be pretty sad if you left. I mean, unless you, like... I mean, if you have to leave for an emergency, I wouldn't be, like, you know... Definitely wouldn't be sad. Because I'd be like... Well, I mean, I'd be, like, sad in a different way. I'd be like, oh, no, I hope everything's okay. But I wouldn't be like... Meh. But, I just want to be clear right now. With Black Hat. And my villainous shippings. My villainous OTP is Dr. Flug and Sandwich. The one gift you can never... Yes, Danzig, you are the one gift. Why would I want to return? Like, we've been friends forever. We really ought to meet up one day, honestly. Like, with how long we've known each other, it's kind of ridiculous. I've known Mr. Wolf for a shorter amount of time, and, like, I live with him now. Like, what the hell? Danzig, we should at least meet. Okay. That'll be a pretty epic day. But yeah, one thing, I like shippings a lot in shows, but I don't know, with Villainous, I don't really like, I don't really ship any of the characters together, but I do think Dr. Flug deserves his sandwich. I think that's ridiculous. You should not separate them. But I know, like, Dementia Black Hat is kind of like a big one, and I'm kind of like, I think Black Hat loves evil too much. Oh, have me on a podcast? Yeah, that oh god, that sound... You have no idea, like, how nervous I get on these things. Like, it put me on a podcast. Oh my god, I don't know. I mean, like, I would be, like, game, but at the same time, I'd be like, I don't know. I kind of like smaller live stream thingies. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too. That's why I keep trying to do these live streams, is so I get used to it, because it's kind of like, this is, I think, basically life now. You know, it's pretty much everybody does videos anymore, and I like to create stuff a lot, like art and music and things, so it doesn't make sense for me not to be doing this sort of thing. And I really like sharing drawing stuff. Like, even if I'm just like drawing for a live stream, or if I like to do you know, like do breakdown tutorials and things. I don't think enough people like do that. And a lot of people seem to like my art enough where they're like, whoa, and I'm like, I don't know, like, and I guess, do you remember, of course, actually, it's great that it's you that I'm talking to right now, because you remember the early days of DeviantArt? I do. And, like, there was, like, those few really good artists, but, like, they were, like, kind of jerks. And so the like people would be like, oh, I love your art, and they'd be, like, all egotistical about it. And, like, I remember, like, just thinking that, and, like, or, like, seeing that, and I'm like, I never want to be that person. Like, if I ever get rid of it, this was back when I, like, didn't think I could draw, because, well, I mean, to be fair, like, I was new. I couldn't draw the way I do now, for sure. But I was like, if I ever get really, really good and people really, really like my art, I'm not going to be a dick. I'm going to literally give all of my secrets away. I don't even care. And so, like, now I'm at a point where, like, I don't know, I see, like, when I did a freaking quick doodle at work last night, and people were like, this is great, and I'm like, well, I guess I've achieved this status. So now that I've achieved this status, I must share what I know, because I refuse to be that jerk who doesn't share knowledge with others. Because, like, I don't even get, like I remember, like, artists, like, not sharing, like, what they would do, because they're like, oh, someone's gonna steal my style or something, and I'm like, I don't know how they would do that unless they stole your hand. I don't know. You know, like, the thing about drawing, I mean, like, I don't think you've really stagnated. Like, if you keep drawing, you're just going to get better. And, but there are points where it feels like you're going backwards. Like, I had that happen to me a few times. Where I'm like, I feel like I was drawing better when I was 12, and now I'm looking at my drawings and I'm like, this is awful. What am I doing? But, it's just like, there's no, like, straight linear line, I think. Because when I started learning anatomy, I was 18, and, but I started, like, too much anatomy on a cartoon character looks creepy as shit, and I was getting so obsessed with anatomy that suddenly I was like, oh my god, I can't draw cartoons anymore. And, I mean, I even had a point where I was considering not drawing cartoons at all, because I loved drawing anatomy so much. But then, like, you know, it occurred to me, like, just tone down the anatomy, just, you know, like, don't detail it as much, like, do something different, you know, like, and, like, as I went along, it's like, now I feel like I'm at a good middle ground. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I don't know, it still looks good. I like it. Sometimes I have a drawing and I start thinking, like, oh man, like, this is the crappiest drawing I've ever seen. It's never gonna be any good. And then, like, by the time it's done, I'm like, this is my favorite drawing now. Sometimes that's just it, is just sticking with the drawing and keep going. And if it gets to a point where it's that bad, just get a new sheet of paper and, like, draw over it. Like, I've done that before too, where it's like, I really like a drawing, but I messed up like something, and there's like no way I can just fix it, so I just draw over my old drawing. I draw the parts I like, and leave the parts I don't like, and ta-da! Like, even right now, I'm kind of looking at this, like, do I want it to cover his smile? Well, I still kind of like that. Okay. I would really love to see, like, a villainous Billy and Mandy crossover. And actually, I'm going to be a bit controversial right now. I don't think Billy and Mandy aged well. And I love Billy and Mandy, but, like, I recently watched a review someone did of Billy and Mandy, and they're like, it still holds up today. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It definitely does not. There's no way it does. Like, I've watched some of the episodes in recent time, and it's, like, it's pretty rooted in early 2000s style cartoons. And, like, they were still using cells, because they hadn't moved to digital yet. So, like, the animation itself is, once you're used to seeing all the modern cartoons with all the stuff they can start doing, watching Billy and Mandy, it's pretty limited stuff. Yeah, and, like, I don't know, like, Billy and Mandy is why I wanted to become an animator, really. Because it was like, that was the one thing I looked to every Friday, and I loved the fact of, like, all the crap it got away with at the time was pretty awesome. But, no, like, it didn't age well. A lot of the jokes, like, or I mean, like, there some of the later seasons still hold up, I think, but if you watch, like, season 1, season 2, I mean, it's like, it's very episode which ones hold up the best, and most of them, to me, really don't. I mean, nowadays, you have, pretty much every cartoon has a really long story arc, you know, that you gotta follow from, like, episode 1 to the newest episode, which I'm having a love-hate of that right now. Like, on one hand, it's really cool, because, you know, like, they're doing more intense stories, but, like, I do think there is a place for, like, cartoons that are just, like, you know, little skits that, you know, you can play out of order and still enjoy them. Which is probably why I like Villainous, actually, because it's a throwback to that. But, I mean, Villainous definitely borrows a lot of the early 2000s aesthetic design choices, but at the same time, like, even though there's only a few shorts, like, it's definitely, like, I think the Villainous things actually hold up better than most of Billy and Mandy, which is really depressing, because, like, I mean, and it's so hard for me to say this, because I love Billy and Mandy so much, but I mean, it had its time. It was a cool thing, but yeah, I you know, I'm gonna stop, because it's just making me sad, because I'm like, it doesn't hold up, guys. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. It's what made me want to be a cartoonist, and I just can't defend it, because it's like, like, I don't know, like, I can't imagine taking, yeah, Lego Unikitty, what the, yeah, I don't know, like, there's stuff out that right now that I know in a few years nobody's gonna know what the hell it was, and when people, you know, when the new young generation asks the current young generation, what the fuck were you thinking? They're gonna be like, I don't know. Like, Pickle and Peanut. Like, nobody's gonna know what the fuck that is. That's gonna be something that's gonna just die. Breadwinners is gonna be totally dated. You know, it's just, like, it happens, and there's nothing really wrong with it, but, you know. I really do feel like they, like, if they, Cartoon Network seems a little bit obsessed with, like, rebooting old things, and I don't want to say this, but I'm like, they probably could do, like, a reboot of Billy and Mandy if they got Maxwell on it. That would be, like, a lot better, because I know Maxwell is insanely awesome, and, like, he could definitely, like, make it actually work, but just watching the old episodes, a lot of them, nah. How long have I been drawing? Do you mean this drawing, or do you mean, like, all time? Oh, in my entire life. I've, oh shit. Well, I mean, like, I guess, okay, let's see. I started taking it seriously at 12. And I'm 25 now. And, but, like, the first memory I have of, like, ever, like, thinking about drawing was, like, I was in 2nd grade and I drew a Bulbasaur and everyone's like, whoa, that's really good. And I'm like, oh, hey, maybe I could be good at something. And then at age 12, I was like, yeah, I watched Billy and Mandy and I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Because I love cartoons. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but, I mean, I really love cartoons. I love cartoons as much as Black Hat loves evil. Let's just put it that way. So, from that moment on, I pretty much dedicated my life to learning cartoons and how to draw. And I taught myself because, pretty much because I had to. I didn't have the option of anyone teaching me, so I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna teach myself. I got this. Okay. But yeah, so I've been drawing for a long time. And what the hell was I talking about before that? I was rambling about Billy and Mandy. Actually, I know there's one thing that's been bugging me that I guess I'll just talk about. I don't know how many Star vs. the Forces of Evil fans are here right now, but Season 3 has been super disappointing, and I've already talked a bit about that. But the other thing is, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks for reminding me, Danzig, but now that I'm on this subject instead. I was thinking about it the other day, and, like, if you watch Season 1 and 2 of Star, even though it's a, you know, you really need to watch from, like, Episode 1 all the way through to, like, get everything, but Season 1 and 2, even so, like, if you catch an episode out of order, like, it's still interesting enough to, like, hold your attention to be kind of, you know, it's kind of like a fun, like, you don't have to, like, follow from episode 1 to episode 30. But, like, with Season 3, I was, like, thinking about all the episodes, and, like, not a single episode in Season 3 of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, if you hadn't watched Seasons 1 and 2, like, really makes, first of all, it doesn't make sense, and then second of all, like, it's not entertaining enough for, like, a new person to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get into this show. Like, and, like, I don't know why they're focusing so much on, like, I know they're trying to, like, build to something, but the build is slow and boring, and it's like, just move on, guys. Oh, hey, I finished a drawing. Oops. I mean, I don't know. But, I'm just kind of like, a continuing series, I don't know if I'm the only one who's getting tired of this. Like, I hate it when people are like, oh man, I love this show. You should watch this show so we can talk about this show. And you're like, okay, how many episodes are there? And they're like, oh, you have to watch 4 seasons. And it's like, I kind of like, I have a life. Like, how can I draw if I have to watch 4 seasons of this show? Like, and one of my friends wants me to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and like the newer series, not like starting from the 80s, you know, like just the newer series, because like that would be insane. But I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And then like I'm like, oh my god, I don't have time to like sit down and watch all these episodes, because it's like I'm following Star, I'm following this, it's like, oh my god. And I kind of do miss, you know, when you know, cartoons. I think we do need more cartoons that go back to the old format of just like, you know, 11-minute monster of the week kind of things, you know. We need a few of those, you know, just to kind of fill it out. OKKO is like that, but it also, like, it seems like it kind of has a running story arc. I haven't caught up all the way on it, but like I've gotten to episode 24. All your friends who are into anime yet binge watch 400 episodes. Sure, yeah. I don't have to go to work or breathe or do anything. But, yeah, OKKO is pretty fantastic. I really like OKKO right now. I just, like, I've been taking my time with it because I'm almost caught up. Oh, also, fun fact, now that I'm almost done with this black hat drawing, this is literally, this outfit that he's wearing was literally what I thought an animator wore when I was 16. Now, to clarify, I lived in the middle of nowhere on the East Coast. Nobody knew that people even made cartoons. They just assumed cartoons, like, materialized, which made it even harder to, like, learn cartoons. But I remember I watched a Billy and Mandy extra on, because I actually have the season 1 DVD, and they actually only made a limited printing of those, and I just happened to catch it at the right time. But they have a bonus feature on that with Maxwell, and he's wearing basically this outfit, except minus the hat. And I remember thinking, like, oh, I want to be like Maxwell, and maybe if I dress like an animator, like, I can channel animation knowledge. Like, I was literally grasping at straws. I tried really hard, but, I mean, I made it. I figured it out. You gotta press the make a card. Yes. So yeah, like, it worked out, but, like, I remember, like, I literally had, like, no... And, like, there weren't a lot of... Like, there weren't tutorials out yet online. Like, again, going back to my earlier thing about how nostalgia for me is dead. Like, nowadays you can literally just, how to make an animation, and there's, like, 1,000 tutorials online. I didn't have that. Like, there weren't even, like, I couldn't even find, like, Frank and Ollie's book in my hometown, and, like, I mean, it was a couple years before I found out there was a book. Like, I had to look for the information to find the information to look for. It was a nightmare. Now you can just go online and go, how do I make a cartoon? And there you go. You're ready to go. So I didn't have that. And I had this bonus feature, and Maxwell was, like, wearing an outfit like this. So I wore this, like, any time I was trying to be an animator, I was like, aha! And I actually have a picture of me, and I have a black fedora, because I also found out somewhere that most animators have hats. So I was like, ha, I will have a hat, too! And now I always have a hat. And so pretty much it's like me with a black fedora in, like, this outfit in front of the Cartoon Network building, because I was like, this is what an animator is. That's what they wear. And, actually, I think I have it on my computer. You know what? We're gonna take, like, 2 seconds. I'm gonna find it on my other screen. Hopefully, let's see. Well, first I'm gonna open up something, make sure it doesn't open up on my main screen, because I bet it does. I bet it does. So first we'll open up this adorable thing. Yeah, there we go. I knew it would do that. Okay. So... October. Oh my god, don't show people all my files. Let's see. Pictures from aeons ago. Let's see. Oh, there it is. That's me. In all my nerdy glory. So yeah, that's what I thought an animator wore. I'm pretty much dressed up like Black Hat, like, years in the past. So I love how I'm talking about killing nostalgia, and I'm like, yeah, check out this nostalgia. But anyways, that's what I thought an animator wore. So, and by the way, I'd never been to California before, and it was hot as hell, and like, that's not the most appropriate outfit for California weather, by the way. It was super thick and super warm, but I was like, I don't care, it's what an animator wears. I actually carried around, like, and actually it's like I feel like that's just me in general, like, I actually carried around, oh, actually I still do, in my backpack. Everywhere I go, I have Richard Williams' Animator Survival Kit. And I don't carry this one around with me also anymore, but I also have Frank and Ollie's Illusion of Life book. And I remember, like, because after high school, I basically got dropped on my ass, and they're like I thought I was going to be able to go to animation college, but basically what happened was I got accepted to a school, and then at the end of the year, my parents were basically just like, oh yeah, by the way, we don't actually have money for you to go to school, so you're not actually going. And it was like, well, shit. So I got Frank and Ollie's book, and I had Richard Williams' book, and I carried them with me everywhere. Everywhere. And those books weigh like 1,000 pounds. And I remember just being like, I don't care. These are the books. These are the Bibles now. It's just me, it's just me and these books, and I'm gonna teach myself how to do this shit. And so I did. Okay. What should I draw now? Bet everybody just wants me to draw dementia, right? That's my guess. God, I draw dementia. I've drawn her so much, though. Ooh, draw Danzig. Okay. Actually, that sounds like a fun, that sounds like fun. I can't remember what you look like right off the top of my head, though. I have not watched Logan, but I probably should. See, the problem is I lose track of movies and shows because I'm too busy drawing. But yeah, I haven't watched that yet. People have told me I need to. So I probably should one of these days. But yeah, okay, let's draw Danzig from memory. Could I just draw Key from memory instead? Like, I still remember how to draw Key. And I could, like, actually probably, like, update the look a little bit more. Yeah, like, I can't remember, like, I know that the only version of you I can literally think of is the poodle version of you. So, you know, I'm gonna draw Key instead. Okay. I'm gonna go blue. Do I want to draw it in blue, or do I want to draw it with, like, Blackwing? Blue, black, blue. We're gonna start blue, then we're gonna work over it. Okay. So, I haven't drawn him in a while, but, you know, I've drawn him enough now where he's embedded in my long-term memory. So that's good. Oh yeah, I actually, like, you mentioned this, like, way earlier, but, like, it's actually been bothering me, too, and I've noticed other people on YouTube mention it. What is going on with YouTube's notifications? Like, what the heck are they doing? Because, like, I've had people be like, I didn't know, like, you've been posting videos? Like, I haven't gotten any notifications. And I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? And I thought it was, like, something I did. I don't know, but, like, it's weird. Why did they do that? What are they doing? Now you gotta literally... It's dark times, you're gonna have to go literally to all your subscribers and just comment on their video and be like, oh, by the way, I'm live streaming. YouTube's notifications don't work anymore, so I have to tell you, manually. Some artists get really mad when people ask them to draw them. I've never actually, that's never bothered me too much. I just kind of like, I was always more worried of like, oh, YouTube's run by the machines now. Okay, that makes more sense. I don't know, it's never bothered me when someone asks me to, like, they're like, oh, could you draw me? Like, that never bothers me. What would bother me is if I was like, okay, and I drew them, and then they were like, wow, I look ugly. I'd be like, that was honestly my fear more so than anything with drawing people. So if someone asked me to draw them, I'd be like, okay, but I kind of suck. So I remember that was like my opening. I mean, I wouldn't say that now. I'd just be like, okay, but you're gonna look way better than you really do. Old man Marco, like an old warrior who lost the faith. So like really like dystopian Mad Max Marco type thing. Well, I haven't drawn Abd Marco in a while. Okay, now I gotta remember not to give him like too much like Tojiro ears. I mean, they're kind of similar, but not exactly. Okay. I really did always enjoy drawing this character. I remember it was this one and then Nova Fox. Because I liked drawing your guys' characters, because like every time I did, you guys are like, cool, and I was like, yes. And that's like what I live for, is just when people are like, yay, your art made me smile, and I'm like, yes. My existence is validated. Oh yeah, he's definitely a looker. He's like... Tojiro better watch out. Name gonna be like, you know what, Tojiro, I'm going with Ki. He's like you, except nicer. Yay! Yeah, I'm starting to realize my art does make like a lot of people smile, so it's like it really helps me get out of bed in the morning. Like, oh, good, I have a purpose to exist. Wahaha. Nothing better than a purpose to exist. Outlook Part 2. Yeah. Ki comes and steals Name away from Tojiro. And Tojiro wouldn't... Tojiro definitely would, like, he just wouldn't admit it. Like, he'd be just like, whatever, I don't care. And then, like... But then he'd be, like, secretly like, okay, I care, I'm really pissed. Showdown of the century. Of course, Tojiro's not really much of, like, a fighter, really. Like, so I feel... Maybe they just have, like, a D&D showdown. I don't know. That sounds really funny. Just trying to imagine Name being like, oh, look at these boys playing D&D over my heart. This makes no sense. She'd play along. She'd be like, what life is weird. She's accepted that. Ki throws the fight just so he could see Outlook continue. He's like, listen, you know, like, I can't, like, you're cool and all, but we gotta finally, you know, get that frickin' artist to finish her stupid story already. Like, we've been waiting years now. Could you just finish it? And I'm like, yes, no, yes, maybe. Oh, yes, I will finish it. I will finish it before I die. I'm pretty determined to meet that deadline. In this case, it's a literal deadline. Okay. I do have to say that it's one of the most amazing, magical things to just be able to wake up and be like, I can take a blank sheet of paper and turn it into pretty much any image I want it to be. I mean, that's kind of the power of drawing. It's pretty incredible. And I'm really glad I stuck with it even through all the crap that happened. I have literally been talking for like an hour straight. Okay, alright, wow, okay, I don't know what just happened there. My stream went down for a minute, and then it came back, so cool. What the hell was that? But we're back now. I only panicked for about half a second. What is... You know, YouTube's just gonna get weirder from this point on, isn't it? Like, I don't even... Like, the other day I realized, like, my friend wasn't getting he was like, I usually get notifications on my phone for your live streams, but I haven't been getting any of them. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And it's like, he was subscribed to me, and he had, like, everything clicked and whatever, and it took, like, 3 tries to get it to work. So I'm assuming there's probably people who aren't getting the notification even today, and they're probably just like, what the hell, you know? Like, I don't know. There's only so much I can do, though. I can't chase everyone down and be like, I'm live streaming. How do I sketch so fast? Okay, well, first I gotta remember before I could sketch this fast. A lot of it's anatomy drawing. I'm really obsessed with, I had this for about like 2 years or so. I just became obsessed with nothing but anatomy drawing. So like, I got a lot of my posing from there. But I think I'm gonna call this drawing done here. I think key looks pretty good. Shading, and then maybe I'll explain my process a little bit, because that's what I like to do. That's the other thing. I love it when I can explain my process and what I do to help people. I love that. That's what I live for. I just drop in some shading on this, though, because I want some shading on this. Alright, cool. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Okay, so when I start drawing and I kind of have an image in my head. Usually it's not like a super clear image or anything. You know, so, you know, but I want to work it out and get the best pose I can. So a lot of times what I do is I just do, I do like little poses, you know, like I think about, like I'll just start with like stick figures, things like this. And they're not exactly stick figures because like I'm still thinking about bone structure and things like that. And you know, you can kind of, if you work small, you can think more about the entire pose as a whole. So you got something. You know, I got a character who's just like sitting down on something. You can kind of like be like, oh, I want to pull up the shoulders a little bit. And I mean, I could do this for so I will. You know, you just kind of like think about what you want to do. Also, it's use reference if you can, like find reference, because there's really working from reference, your drawings will always look better. And yes, I am Captain Starco. Yes. I mean, working from reference is always the best way to go. And I know some people like there's a weird stigma sometimes against reference, which I will never ever understand, because it's like, well, what the heck else are you supposed to draw from if you don't have a storage memory in your head of all these different poses? What are you supposed to draw from then? It's like, you need reference. So you find reference, that's good too. And I mean, sometimes you can't find the exact pose, but you can get something close. So you know who I haven't drawn in a long time? I haven't drawn Hekapoon in a bit. So, and I really like drawing her crazy frilly dress thing. So I'm gonna start thinking more like that. And she's kind of a badass. Honestly, I would like to see more about her instead of, you know, like, you're supposed to be Star's boyfriend. Like, God, my Starco heart died in that moment. I was just like, oh my God, this is not Marco. Who are you? I should pull up a Hekapoon reference. I'm gonna do that over here because I know I'm gonna get bad shit too. It's the internet. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So, the thing that's taken me, well, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I'm going to elaborate more. As I was learning to draw, I remember I started like when I was 12, and then I remember being about 16 or so, and looking back at my old drawings and thinking, like, I was thinking they looked better than what I was producing at the time, because when I was 16, I was starting to get like, I started thinking like, oh, I have to be super detailed. There has to be a lot of detail and like rendering and everything, but like none of my drawings were really like fun. And I didn't quite understand why like my older drawings, even though, and I mean, my older drawings weren't like as well detailed, I could see that, but I was like, these drawings I'm doing now, they're not like really as fun as these older drawings. And that's really the key there too, is that like when you're drawing, you shouldn't sit down in front of the sheet of paper and think, I'm gonna make my perfect drawing on this sheet of paper, it's gonna be done, it's gonna be fantabulous. It's like, that's not really how it works. It should be more like just like playing on the paper, like just messing around with like Just like, I mean, make it messy, make, you know, screw up, like use references and kind of, or like, I mean, like even just like like I do stick figure pose stuff like all the time. Like this is a majority of what I end up drawing, but obviously I don't post these because it's like boring, you know. Like if I just posted this, people would be like, what the hell are you doing? But what I do end up posting is just like the final product, which is a culmination of me just playing on the paper. And that's really, I think, the hardest thing, is that you have to kind of go through this like super analytical stage where you're super, you know, you're super critical on everything you draw, and you're like, oh, this isn't detailed right and everything. And the funny thing is you basically just end up going full circle and realizing, you know, like, actually I just need to have fun with this. Because if you're not having fun drawing it, people aren't really going to have fun looking at it, is what I've discovered. So like I'm having a lot of fun with this pose right now, so I think this is going to work. But like I was drawing these poses, they were kind of just meh poses, you know. And then I started thinking like I just want to do like, I'm like just thinking, oh, what'll be fun? Hekapoo, like doing a fight pose or something. And like she's got this crazy hair. But when it comes down to it, like the best art is just stuff you're having fun with. It's pretty hard to, I will admit it's pretty easy for me to say, but it does take a while to get to there. It's one of those type of lessons. She's gonna have scissors. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's the thing too, like I have this pose too, but I know it's gonna change a little bit by the final anyway, because you know, this is just basically like, yeah, I like this pose, and I can really play with the expression. Like the body is the most important thing for expression, because like if you draw like a smiley face, it's like, yeah, that's great, like we can tell this guy is casually happy, but you know, like it's a lot better if you can draw like, you know, his whole, like, what if you puff out his chest a little bit like that, and he's a little like he looks like he's ready to just ridiculously conquer the day, you know, and his chest is puffed out so much that it's actually going to cover up his other shoulder, you know. And then again, this is just playing though. I'm just playing on the paper. That's all I'm doing. And then I can take all of this messing around and make it into a final piece. So like, yeah, like, I mean, you know, that gives me the gesture, you know, that'll definitely get across. So a lot of times too, it's like, what do you want to draw exactly? Like, do you want to draw like the emotion of what you want to draw? You kind of got to get into that character and that state of mind. Okay, but I got this pose and I like it. Just gonna mess up my paper really terribly because I don't care. That's the other thing too. There's like a lot of people tend to treat their paper like it's sacred. I don't. Like, I can redraw anything I've already drawn. Nothing is sacred to me. Nothing. I've crumpled final pieces of artwork and not even batted a tear. Not an eyelash. No sense of remorse. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to lay flat for me, though. Camera. Okay. Well, it's flat enough. Let's see. And I have really messy hands because I've been drawing for a while, and I got lead smear everywhere. Okay. Now it's already almost 1 o'clock, huh? Wow. This is probably the longest live stream I've ever done, I think. I don't know. It feels like it's been the best live stream I've ever done. You know, no, I'm doing it. I'm roughing it in my red pencil. Okay. So I've roughed out this little tiny thumbnail pose. So I already kind of have, you know, the anatomy of things down. Breaking it down into basic shapes. Keeping in mind the bone structure, because all the anatomy sits on the bone structure. I love the total shift in the stream right now, though, because like I was just talking about like dumb pop culture stuff, and now I'm like full on. All right, we're gonna draw this, and this is how I do it. Okay, so I'm working very lightly, keeping in mind proportions, that sort of thing. Okay. And at this stage, if I mess up, I can fix it pretty easily. So that's why I work a little bit rough. And even though like her legs are totally covered up by her dress, I'm still going ahead and like drawing in parts of where they would be, so I know how the fabric overlaps. Okay. Oh, and I know this is totally cheesy and dumb, but it's kind of true, and I'm gonna say it anyway, because it's important. You're never gonna draw the way you want to draw if you don't believe that you can. And it's really easy to sit there and be like, oh, I'll never draw this well, or I'll never draw this way. And the unfortunate truth is, if you think that way, then yeah, you never will. But if you think, one day I can draw like that, I can't right now, but like I will be able to one day, then, you know, you will figure it out. But there is definitely something to that. If you think you can't, then you won't. Okay. Well, yeah, so fun fact about today, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out in 1937 today. I think that's pretty cool. But I'm also kind of a bit of an animation nerd, so, you know. Definitely not liking something about this leg. But luckily I've worked rough, so I can just erase it. Whatever. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think that's it. So the shoulders, when they tilt this way, the hips tilt that way. And I tend to forget that sometimes. So I think that's what's going on. It's bugging me. So that means her leg would be down. Like there. Okay. She's got that bang in front of her eye. It's not exactly an emo bang, but it's still pretty cool. And the horns. I think all of that excess talking has finally caught up to me. Okay. And as for drawing hands, that's practice. Lots of practice. I think I'm probably drawing this more like the scissor blade from Kill la Kill, but whatever. Shh, shh, don't tell anyone. My secret. Okay. And again, I'm still just working off of this original thumbnail. I'm just, now I'm trying to like set proportions and try and get a more finalized version. Thanks for not telling anyone, Danzig. Okay. I don't like how that's... I'm flipping the... It's gonna ruin the camera angle for a minute, but that's alright. I just want to straighten out that sword blade, and it's a little bit hard for me to do sideways, so there we go. Hope that doesn't sound too bad in the audio. But okay. Let's see. Okie dokie. Make sure that's still lined up with the camera. It's not. Okay. There we go. Ta-da! Well, I could probably get it better. Ta-da! There we go. Okay. And zooming down on my live chat. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's all based off of this initial thumbnail drawing. But then in this stage, I'm trying to set the details. One thing I tend to forget to do for some reason is have her bang cover her eyes. But I'm going to do something a little different, a little off model. And I'm going to have it actually branch off a little bit, go over her nose a little. There we go, because I kind of like that. I think that's cool. And then maybe too much eyelid, I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah, I think I don't like that. Which is why I work rough. I can't emphasize working rough and not being afraid to make mistakes, because I think that's the biggest thing I end up seeing is just people are like, well, I messed up this drawing, my life is over. It's like, no, you get another sheet of paper and you start over. That's it. Not to quote Jackie Lynn Thomas, but I'm going to. It's like skateboarding. You get back up again. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And then I'm gonna stretch her jaw down a little bit more and give her a little bit of a growl. See, even in this stage though, I'm still having some amount of, I'm playing with the idea in my head, you know. Now it's the expression. I have the body pose and what I was going for, and now I'm like, now I'm just going for that final, or close to final, because I'm actually going to go over this again. And there's still a lot of stuff you can do playing with just the line art itself. So right now I'm playing with the expression. Before I was playing with the body pose, now I'm like... And then when I get to the line art, I'm going to get to line thickness. Wait, then I meet Tony Hawk. Yes, that's part of my drawing process. It's meeting Tony Hawk. Yes, Danzig. I go and meet Tony Hawk. And then he blesses my art, and then it's... Because that makes a lot of sense. Oh wait, that's because I made the skateboard reference. Duh. Okay, gotcha. One thing I hate about live streams is trying to keep track of that chat lag. It gets confusing. And I'm sure you know this all too well. But yeah, I'm not used to it yet. Still getting used to it. Oh damn, I gave her a beefy arm. That's really cool. I like that, actually. She's keeping her beefy arm. You're welcome, Hekapoo. Rawr. Beefy ass arm. Okay. And then we're gonna go in, do the... Hell, I feel like I can, like, tear up her dress more than usual. Because it looks like she's been through some... She looks like she's seen some shit. She's like, I've been fighting something pretty fucking hardcore. She ain't taking no shit, though. So like I can draw characters on model, but what's the fun in that? Like I like to vary it a little bit off. But I mean, she still looks pretty on model anyway. So it's like there's a certain amount of leeway in drawing a character on model that you don't necessarily have to keep it 100%. You can change some things. But yeah, I mean, this drawing started basically here. So somehow I don't think I'd get as many likes on Amino though for this drawing as I would for what this is going to look like finalized. Heck, I mean, I think even at this point this would look pretty good. But we're gonna do more to it because I'm not done with it. I'm having fun with it still, and I want it to look different. But yeah, it's really, sometimes it's hard to remember to have fun with it. I know some people draw because they want, like, attention. And they want fame and notoriety, but the problem is when you do that, it seeps into your drawing, and people can tell that you're just trying to get, you know, something. So, like, just have fun with it. And, I mean, if you're having fun drawing it, people will like it. It's seriously, like, something that has not ever been wrong for me. When I've tried drawing something and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna draw something because I haven't drawn something in a while, and I feel like, you know, I want people to know I'm still around. It's like nobody really notices. But if I'm having fun with the drawing, and I'm having so much fun with this one. Look at that hair. It's going, her hair is everywhere. I don't even know that song. I just know that one lyric for some reason. I think it's Dashboard Confessional. I don't know. But yes. I'm really having fun with this one. And then I can... So this phase is when I go in, and this is where the real magic happens. Because this is the dark line. This is when things get gritty. But I don't like fully cleaned up drawings. So even my cleanups tend to have a little grit to them. Okay. Let's do this, Hekapoo. Are you ready? Set her eyeliner. Now, I've never worn eyeliner, but with how many characters I've drawn with eyeliner, I'm starting to think I probably could actually draw my own eyeliner on my face, because seriously, so many characters have eyeliner. It's a thing. So I kind of like doing the colored pencil thing and then doing the dark line. I just think it kind of looks interesting. I really like it. And see, that's the thing too. The other thing I like about it is you can still see like my mistakes down here, but I guarantee you 100% no one's going to say anything about them. If someone just looks at the image, they're not even gonna be like, oh, look at all the messed up, the dark line is what everyone looks at. So it's kind of interesting that way. That all my flaws and mistakes are right there, but they still think my art is beautiful. Isn't it poetic? I don't know what the hell I'm going on about anymore. Just go with it. Okay. And so I start varying the line thickness as well, which basically is just fancy terms for I make some of the lines thicker than other lines. That's all that means. But saying I vary the line thickness, or another way of saying it is I vary the weight of the line. There's a lot of highfalutin fancy pants art terms for things that are very actually simple. And varying the line weight is one of those, because people really do notice. If everything's the same line thickness and it's super flat, it's not that it's not as interesting, but sometimes if you don't do it right, it's not as interesting. It all just depends on the kind of image you're doing. And I actually, drawing-wise, I come from a black and white, two-dimensional background because I'm very much influenced by an artist named Stan Sakai, creator of Usagi Yojimbo, otherwise known as the greatest comic ever written, ever. And he works pretty much solely in black and white, although he does do watercolor occasionally. But when you're doing a purely black and white comic, line thickness and also the distribution of black and white on the drawing is essential. You can't really mess that up, or else your reader won't know what to look at. But Stan Sakai is brilliant and a beautiful person, and he knows how to do that marvelously, and I have just literally been looking at his art for years and just figuring out what he does. And he's also, all of my favorite artists have one thing in common. It's that they like to share what they do. And so that's actually another reason I like to share what I do, because I was able to figure out a lot because Stan did he did 2 different ones actually, explaining his process. And that's when I found out about technical pens, and that's when my life changed forever. Because I've literally, not the same exact pens, but the same brand and type. I've been using the same technical pens since middle school, and I've never changed. And it was all because I found a thing Stan Sakai had done explaining his process. And going back to the earlier part of the live stream, that was kind of a big deal because I was in the middle of nowhere, East Coast, New Englandville, white people town. Nobody knew anything about cartoons. It was horrible. It was a dark time. Which is going back to another part of the earlier part of the live stream, which is why nostalgia is stupid, because it's like, you guys have so much now, it's beautiful, like, don't look back. Do you know, actually, Danzig, I don't know if you've ever encountered this, but this happened one time to me, and I was horrified. I was like in this chat room, and I can't remember where or why or what was going on, but there was this, like, they were going on about 90s nostalgia, and there was this kid who was like, oh man, I wish I had been born in the 90s. And it was the most horrifying thing, and I think that's when this whole killing the nostalgia thing started for me, because it's like, I realized that these freaking 90s kids with their nostalgia, they're sitting there going like, yeah, 90s had the best stuff, you guys have shit, and like, they were making like these young kids feel like shit. And so I went, you know what? The 90s weren't that great. We had dial-up internet. It, like, barely worked. And we had, like, you know, like, I mean, there was no YouTube. There was no, like, this kind of thing, like live streaming. This couldn't exist. You know, I'm like, and I remember, like, just being like, listen, kid, no, you live in the best time, okay? Like, literally the best time right now. The only time that'll be better than now is the future. So don't you sit there and listen to these stupid 90s kids telling you that, you know, oh, yeah, it sucks for you because you didn't grow up in the 90s. It's like, come on. It's like, no. The 90s were, okay, they were good things, but there were also really shitty things. And you shouldn't be sitting there, you know, making these kids feel bad. Because, like, this kid was, like, really legitly, like, just like, oh, my generation sucks. And I'm like, no, like, everything is amazing. And I don't think nostalgia's bad, and I don't think learning about the past should be ignored. But this glorification of the past seems a little messed up. Like, I've kind of, like, grown up with it my whole life. Like, my dad always would go on about how great the 50s were. And, like, now that I'm older and stuff and I actually look into it, like, there's a lot of cool things about the past, but there's also a lot of things that are just fucked up. Because, I mean, like, in the 50s in America, I mean, sure, you had really beautiful cars. We can't lie. 50s cars were, like, gorgeous, yes. But then you also had, like, women basically couldn't leave the home. They couldn't really get good jobs. A lot of them were doped up on drugs because they were, like, they literally could not leave the house, so they would, like, get, like, stir crazy. And, like, there's a lot of stuff. And I mean, like, yes, there's cool things about the 50s, but there's also screwed up things about the 50s. There's cool things about the 90s, but there's also screwed up things about the 90s. In the early 2000s, there are cool things there too, believe it or not. But yeah, I think it's easier with the 2000s to focus on the screwed up parts, though. But I think the thing is, like, I think people should know about the past and learn about the past, but not, like, glorify it. Like, people forget, like, I mean, medicine has come a very long way as well. Every day they're discovering new ways to treat illnesses that were not previously treatable. And so, like, I think that's the problem is with the nostalgia goggles. It's very easy to sit there and be like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could turn now into the 90s? Or, like, now into, like, whatever time period you think is best. But, like, you forget that, yeah, back then they didn't have all the stuff we do now. And, I mean, it's kind of interesting, too. There's just so many parallels. I mean, this is one of the things I love thinking about, because I think a lot. And I just love comparing the past to now, and just, like, those kind of differences. Because, like, I was listening to, like, if you even listen to pop music from the 50s to now, there's actually a lot of things that just, like, literally haven't changed at all musically. It's, like, the same chord structures. The things that have changed are, like, recording styles and distortion, like, styles, basically, like, but there's a lot of bands that actually are pretty much doing the same pop music that was being produced 50 years ago. They just basically put a new twist on it. Yeah. And that's it too, exactly. Nostalgia is basically, people are just so dumb for it. They're like, and companies have noticed that, and they're like, hey, we can make money off of these dumb nostalgic bastards. And so that's the other thing people don't seem to, like, it's funny because, like, they don't seem to notice. It's like, you're being duped. It wasn't better back then. And actually, honestly, like, one thing that confuses me is, like I mentioned my dad, he's got nostalgia for the 50s, because that's, like, when he grew up. And, 90s kids have nostalgia for the 90s because they grew up and 90s was their childhood. But that's the thing that confuses me, is it's, like, it's always the childhood, but, like, why do you sit there and look back at your childhood and think, oh man, I missed that? Because, like, what I remember about being a kid compared to being an adult is, like, now I make my own choices. And yeah, there are some pretty shitty days, and oh no, yeah, I have to go to work. But, like, I make all my own choices. Like, my life is what I want it to be. And I mean, currently at the moment, my life is exactly the way I like it. So, like, why? And I mean, even when my life, to be fair, like, going back, like, when I was about 18, 19, my life wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be at that point. But to be honest, I still was like, I'm glad I'm where I am now because I control my life. Everything I do is me. So if I'm having a bad time, then it's on me. And I shouldn't be disheartened by this. I should realize that if I control this, then I can change it and make it better. But when I was a kid, I was literally at the mercy of whatever the hell my parents were doing. And that's pretty much every kid, right? So it's like, I'm sitting there going like, these 90 kids are like, oh yeah, it was great, Nickelodeon and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, Nickelodeon was great. And like, Pokemon was great. And, you know, Kids WB, Saturday morning cartoons, like, that stuff was great, but that was not what life was. Like, life was a lot of other shit going on. And like, I know most people don't really have, you know, perfect home situations. I know I sure as hell didn't. So I'm sitting there going like, why are you nostalgic for that? Like, I love that I, you know, like, literally everything I do is my choice. I've noticed that most of the people who are nostalgic, like, really badly, where they'll, like, literally defend it, is pretty much them just not liking their life where it is now and only remembering the good parts of the past and thinking, oh man, if only I could go back to that. And it's like, that's kind of a dangerous way of thinking. Like, you gotta stay present. Wow, this got, like, really deep. I'm just, like, sitting here trying Hekapoo, and I'm like, oh yes, here's really deep shit about nostalgia in life. Hey, kids! We have to go deeper. I can go deeper. I mean, nostalgia is definitely one of the things I love to look at and just question and, like, try to figure out, because I love it. Like, I just love, like it's weird because, like, I just love people and, like, the way people think about things. And, like, I like to know, like, about, like, why people think the way they do. Like, I saw a humorous thing about 90s kids on Instagram a while ago. And it was something like, oh, 90s kids, you mean sad adults? And there was, like, 17,000, like, reposts. And someone's like, there's been, like, 17,000 reposts, but not a single person has argued. And then another person went on and went, what's there to argue? And so I'm sitting there going, like, wait, so you're self-aware? Like, 90s kids are self-aware that they're just, like, nostalgic for the 90s because they're sad with their adult life? And it's like, how can you be self-aware but, like, not work to change it? I don't get that. That might just be a me thing, because, well, I mean, like, personally, me, like, when I have a problem with something, I face it head on, even when I'm freaking terrified of it. Because it's like, I'm not going to sit around and just let it, like, I don't know, control my life. Like, kind of like when I started having, earlier this year, I started having, like, bad anxiety and, like, social anxiety stuff. And like, it got really bad at a certain point. And then I sat there and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life being the weirdo who freaks out because people exist. Like, no, I'm going to figure out why this is happening to me and get to the bottom of it. And eventually, like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to get over it. And I, like, I mean, it's pretty easy to say that, but, like, it's a lot harder. But, like, the thing is too, like, I used to have really, really super bad depression, and there's actually a lot of links between depression and anxiety. So it's funny because when I started having the anxiety, it was like right at the point where I was like, I'm not feeling depressed anymore. I feel fantastic. Life is wonderful. Things are great. And then, like, all of a sudden, I'm, like, in crowds of people, and I'm like, can't breathe. And it's like, oops, like, what's happening? So, like, I mean, life hits you in different ways. But, like, I don't know. Like, I just, like, it started happening, and then I'm sitting there, and, like, I freaked out on a few people, like, with anxiety attacks. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. This isn't me. This is not going to be my life. I'm not doing this. And so I've just been working on it. I've been doing a lot better. I mean, honestly, like, it still definitely affects me, because, like, even today, like, right before I came on the live stream, I was like, oh my god, I can't do this live stream. Like, I can't, like, people are going to be talking to me, and I don't know what to say. And look at me, I've just been, like, rambling for, like, 2 hours. So apparently I did know what to say. But, like, I was freaking out and, like, really nervous about it, and I'm like, nope, we're doing this. Get on live stream, because, you know, even if you freak out and have an anxiety attack on live stream, that's one step in the right direction. We're trying to figure this out. We'll figure out why you freaked out, and then we'll move on from there. So, I don't know. Like, that's just who I am. I refuse to ignore my problems. But I think a lot of people like to ignore their problems, and that's where nostalgia can get dangerous, because you go like, oh, my life sucks now, but remember when the 90s were great and everything was great? And then you just start living in the past, and the more you live in the past and you ignore the present, then the worse the problem's gonna get. It's like, it's not gonna get any better. It's just gonna spiral even worse. So, like, I mean, that's part of the thing, too, is, like, I kind of, like, I mean, I think everybody goes through a point where they try to ignore their problems. But, I mean, eventually you do hit a point where you have to face them. And I think it's not so much not having problems, it's learning how to face what you face, you know, and just confront it. But I think a lot of times, like, people just don't like doing that. But it doesn't save them from anything. If anything, it usually makes it worse. You know? You live in the past, you got no future. Exactly. You know, also I'm gonna say living in the future is dangerous too. Because that's actually, well, we're gonna go back in time a little bit. Which is ironic, because I'm like, don't live in the past. But we're gonna go back in time. Because, like, when I was younger, like, I did not like my life, and it sucked, and I pretty much was at the mercy of my parents and whatever their choices were. And I hated it, and, like, any angsty teenager. And, but I started just living for the future, always. And, what happened was, like, all through high school, I didn't animate anything. Which in retrospect, it's really easy to sit there and look back and be like, well, dum-dum, you want to be an animator. Why aren't you trying to animate? And it's because I thought, oh, well, in the future, I'm going to go to animation school, and they're going to teach me how to animate. They're going to give me this ability to animate. And so I'll just work, I'll just practice drawing. And that'll be it. You know, like, I'll just get really good at drawing, and then after I get out of high school, they'll teach me how to animate, and then I'll move to Burbank, and I will get a job in animation, and my life will be peaches and cream, and everything will be perfect. And, you know, I probably, you know, like I pretty much, like, had it, like, all in my mind, like, just my future. I banked it all on, like, oh, I'll just essentially I was procrastinating my life, I guess, because I'm like, my life will just get better later. But that, I mean, clearly it didn't quite help me, because, you know, when high school was over, and then, like, and I mean, like, my parents pretty much were like, no, don't worry, like, we'll get you into college, you'll be fine. And me being the dumb trusting, you know, dumbass, you know, like young kid was just like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, I'm fine, everything will be fine. And then I got out of high school, and then I was all accepted into this college, and then they're like, yeah, we don't have any money, and like our credit's really bad, so all the loans were turned down. And that was pretty much how we were planning to get you through college, so like, yeah, you're not going. Oh shit, you know. And that's the thing, I had banked so much on that and my future that like I suddenly had this realization that I had just like wasted 4 years of my life like not trying to figure out how to be an animator, because I just thought it would be handed to me and that it would just belong to me, and that like I felt like I had worked to earning that, like, because like I mean I'd worked really hard on my, I was working, I'd get up at 5:45, go through school, get out of school, have a half hour to get into my work uniform, and then go to work, and then yeah, the place I worked for was super illegal. I'd get home at like 10:30, and so like pretty much most of my days were like school, work, and then I got home at 10. I didn't even get home at 10:30. I got home at 11 because then I had to drive home, and then I had to do any school project that was due, and I still somehow managed to draw and make like the first version of Outlook. And like I don't know how the hell sometimes I look back and I'm like, how the fuck, but like did I get anything done, because it was like I was working my ass off, and then it was just like everything went to hell. And the thing was, it was because I was ignoring what I was doing in the present time. I wasn't sitting there thinking, why am I working this shit job and not doing my art? Like, my art is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and this job is taking me away from that. And, you know, money's nice and all, but, you know, I have to be a better artist. I have to be a better animator. I should, you know, quit. Or, you know, like, I don't know why, well, I know why, but that was the thing. If you bank too much on the future and you think, oh, my life will be better, it's like, no, like, you make the future today. So if you're not working to the future you want today, then it's not going to happen. And then you're going to be like 18-year-old me suddenly going, oh, fuck, what do I do? And yeah, unfortunately, that was the worst time in my life. That was a dark time. I didn't exactly, like, the thing is, it's like, in retrospect, like it seems like I went out and I got the animation books and I taught myself. And when I say it like that, it seems like I was not, like, giving up. But the truth was, I felt like there was literally nothing. Like, I literally, me, like, getting the animation books and trying to teach myself was just, like, I was just grasping at anything, because I was just losing my will to live, pretty much. The thing was, I was trying to teach myself animation, but I felt like it was never going to go anywhere. I mean, part of that was I was dealing with a serious depression that nobody was noticing and pretty much being ignored. It was really bad. So, like, but, like, literally me trying to teach myself animation was not so much me being like, huh, the odds are against me, well, I'll show them. It was more of a, like, well, I guess I'll try. I don't know why I bother, though. You know, it's like, it's so funny. Like, I can laugh about it now, but it was really bad. I mean, obviously I can draw now and I can animate now, but it was not, like, I didn't just wake up one morning and go, ha, I can draw like this. I can animate. I'm perfect. No, not at all. Yeah, so it's like living in the future can cause you to have that crash. And I get really nervous about when I see people doing that, because it's like, it is a common thing where you sit there and you go, oh, well, especially in like younger kids too, which is the scarier thing, because it's like I don't really, like, honestly, the only reason I think I'm here today after all of that was just because, like, I had a friend who was really there for me, that I kind of screwed up everything with him, but honestly, I'm probably only here today because of him, which is kind of, I mean, that's really bad, like, cause it was bad. Not to get depressing, but, you know, like, I've been through that myself, and that it makes me really worry, because I see, like, I'm going to speak specifically on America here. In America, there's this real push that, like, if you don't go to college, you're a loser. The only way to have a future is to go to college. And, like, college, everything, and you have to get good grades, and you have to be the best, and you have to do it fast, and you have to be it now, and you have to do it, you know, yesterday. And it's like, it's like, there's so much pressure that it's like, that's not, the thing is, there's so much pressure on that, and it's not even true. And so, but, like, you see a lot of young kids, they think, oh, well, if I get good grades, then I'm going to have a good life, and that's living for the future, it's not living for now. And so, like, the thing is, too, like, I got good grades in school. I got A's and B's all the time. I worked really hard. And then, like, but because of financial reasons, I wasn't able to go to college. And I remember thinking, because of that stigma here in America, like, I remember thinking, like, oh my God, like, I'm basically, like, I couldn't go to college, so I'm nothing. Which is another reason why it's like, I didn't even know why I was bothering trying to teach myself animation, because I'm sitting there going, like, no one's going to hire me without a college degree. Which, actually, come to discover, isn't really the truth. Really what matters is, can you fucking draw? And can you show up on time to work? And can you be reliable and meet deadlines? That's pretty much all that matters. But I really hate this push for, like, you know, like, everything has to be now, everything has to be yesterday. And I see just a lot of younger people going through that. And it's very worrying to me, because, like, why aren't we just letting, you know, kids be kids and they figure it out? Because there's no one straight path in life. Because if there was, goddamn, I would have taken it. I swear, I'm such a goody two shoes. I would have taken it, but like, there's no, like, oh, if you do this, everything will work out perfectly. It's not how it works. And we're not really preparing anyone for life after school with that mentality. Because, I mean, this is the thing, sometimes it ends up hitting college kids. Like, you get out of college, and then you're like, oh, great, I just got this degree, but I don't know what to do. Because in the end, it's like, it's what kind of job do you want? What are you looking for? And it's like, you have to live in the present. Because if you live in the past, you don't move forward. You're basically stagnate. But if you live in the future, you're basically off in some daydream, and you're not paying attention to what's actually happening around you. And it's very easy to fall into one of the two traps. You know, like, just hoping for the future or looking to the past. It's like, just pay attention to now. There, Danzig, did that get deep enough for you? Oh, I have like 15 minutes left, and then I have to get ready for work. But hey, check out this Hekapu drawing. It's pretty beautiful, right? As I get really deep about life and everything. There are 3 people on this live stream, but Danzig is the only one talking. I know you're out there. YouTube tells me you're there. Plus 1,000. Oh, cool. Yeah, sorry some of that was depressing, but, like, you know. I don't know, I think a lot. Like, a lot. All the time. About just things. So, like, I actually have, like, basically, like, a backlog of, like, all this kind of deep stuff that I could talk about forever. But a lot of times it's just, you know, people don't really, it's either people don't want to hear it, or you know, like, just bad timing, like they don't have the time to hear it. Damn, this looks good though. Yay! I'm gonna give her a nice red eye. I'm gonna shade that. And I'm gonna get her scissors too. So yeah, I got like 15 minutes left, and then I have to get off this stream, eat food, and go to work. But if anyone has any like last minute questions, or you just want to laugh at my silly deep conversation, now's the time to get on that chat, ask me questions. I am really hungry right now though. I should probably watch that from now on, because when I get hungry, I ramble forever. And it goes on. Although it seems like people don't seem to mind, but I don't know. Like, I'm always worried that one day I'm rambling and like nobody's gonna tell me that it's like, yeah, you're just rambling, and like, can we like that's of course that's one of my weird social anxieties. It's just I'm the type of person that if I'm bugging you, just tell me. Please tell me, because like I'd rather you just tell me to my face than like later on find out like secondhand and be like, oh yeah, like so and so said that you like ramble and that you're really annoying, and it's like, I would hate that. It's like, just tell me to my face. You'll hurt my feelings less. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I hope I at least keep it interesting when I ramble. I feel like I do, but I don't know. You know, like, that's a freaking anxiety there. I don't see, why am I worrying about it? Apparently you guys stayed on and listened to it. See? Being human is really weird. I mean, I don't really have any context of being anything else, but I will say that I think being human is pretty odd. Because it's like, I know I shouldn't worry about things like that, but I do. And then, like, and that's the thing, it's like, everything I ever worry about and that I think is terrible, like, first of all, there are things that are 10 times worse than anything I could, like, ever think of. But then also, like, I end up talking to people about it, and I'm all like, I don't know, I just get really nervous that I'm annoying somebody, and they're like, I'm not annoyed, I've been listening the whole time. And I'm like, oh, I guess you have, huh? It's like, alright. I'm a silly person. I do love that, like, I don't, like, I'm still getting used to live streaming, but I just love how I, like, the whole vibe, like, totally changed. Like, at first I started off just, like, drawing the Green Day thing, and then I drew Black Hat, and then I started explaining my process of, like, how I look for poses, and then all of a sudden I got into this deep discussion about life and my past. And, like, seriously, I'm an open book. I don't care about sharing my past. Some people really worry about that. I really don't give a shit. I think people can learn from my past. I know I have, so... I mean, it doesn't change it. You knowing it doesn't change anything, so... maybe it can be helpful to somebody. Is that just my life? Like, I'm just like, I just want to be helpful. Here's how to draw. Here's how to deal with life. Here's how to... I'm here for you. All of you. Every human being that I can talk to. Always. Because it's what I live for. This Hekapoo drawing came out really cool. I'm really proud of this, actually. I'm gonna post... What I love, too, about this is I always do, like... It is good to feel needed. You're right, Danzig. But, what I love about this, too, is I'm looking at this Hekapoo drawing, and it's really cool. And I know I'm gonna post it on Amino. And I'm gonna be like, did a live stream! Here's the archive! Thanks for anyone who joined, and, like, I'm gonna get like a bunch of people being like, "Oh my god, that drawing's amazing!" And it's like they're gonna watch the video and then they're gonna be like, "Whoa, what's this deep, depressing shit?" Be like, "It's me. All of my training has led me to this moment." That's pretty much sums up my art right there. Honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with this live stream. I don't even want to end it, but I do gotta go to work. And honestly, I've been working Monday to Wednesday this week. I was staying like extra late at work. And today is like the first day I'm gonna have that's like a normal day. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to just having a normal day at work. So it's like, it's kind of weird. Like on one hand, I'm like, I'm kind of looking forward to work, but I also kind of don't want to leave this live stream because it's like, wee. But you know, I'm sure you have a life, Danzig, and you gotta move on, and the other people lurking. I'm sure you have a life. You know, so. Are there people who just come on to live streams but like never talk? Because, I don't know, every time I go on a live stream, I feel like the need to talk. I'm like, I must talk. Like, that's why I'm here. Because if I wasn't live streaming, or like if you're live streaming, it's to basically interact with people. That's the point. So if you're not going to interact with people, then maybe you should just do a video. Although I did have that one Christmas Tom sweater video, but like I was in a rush. Like I wanted to interact with people, but I was also like, I only got a few minutes, let's go. So it was kind of like, oops, I didn't interact a lot with people. But I definitely want to start doing this regularly. Thursdays, I think. Thursday seems to be a good day because the house is empty. And usually, I mean, life pending, the house is usually empty, so it works pretty well. And I can just chat on. You don't have much to say on live streams except for mine. Well, that's fine. Danzig, why don't we, you know what, you do playthroughs on video games mostly, right? So, like, why don't we should just combine our live streams. It'll be we can cut the screen 4 ways, and on one side you'll be playing your game, and on the other side I'll be, like, drawing, and then it'll be insane. It'll be hilarious. Yeah, I do love how this live stream basically just turned into, I'm chatting to Danzig, and you know, other people, but mostly I'm talking to people, but mostly Danzig. That's what this live stream was. But yeah, I kind of want this live stream to just be like, people can come in and come say hi and like just ask me questions, and me acting like an idiot. I'll probably play ukulele a bit more later on in live streams, maybe, you know. But I do want to kind of get this started regularly, I think. I am proud of this drawing. This looks good. There's something that never used to happen. I never used to like look at my own drawing and be like, this looks good. Like, that never happened. It was always be like, I'm a failure. I've let animation down. I'll never be good enough. And yeah, it's like, then with that thinking, no wonder my art sucked. You know, it's like, you gotta think, nah, that's good. You gotta pat yourself on the back. And even if you can't see all the good, you should be like, if you're like, well, I don't like this, but you know, that looks good. You should at least be able to do that. You must think positive. Or at least, you know, like, constructively. Like, you could be like, oh, that sucks, but how could I make it better? See, it's all about constructive positivity, rebuilding it up. That kind of thing. Okay, oh yeah, and I should sign this. I always forget to sign it. Oh yes, and Danzig, I know you probably don't know this, but I have a bit of a reputation now in Amino as Captain Starko, the crazy-ass girl who can draw just about anything. Although, I don't think most people know I'm a girl. I kind of like to leave that mysterious and just kind of drop that on them in the it's kind of fun, just like suddenly out of nowhere be like, yep, ha, I'm a girl, I get used to it, ha. No, I won't date you. Go away. I have had a couple creepers hit on me. It's kind of weird. But what's weird about that too is I had a couple creepers hit on me like when it wasn't well known that I was a girl, and that confused me. I love ukulele, by the way. I'm addicted. So, yeah, I'm really hungry, and honestly I feel a little delirious. So they're like, "Wait, you're not a guy?" Yeah. Oh my god, that would be funny if I'd gotten that reaction. Actually, you know, I'm gonna end the stream with the weirdest one I ever got. Okay, so I got 2 minutes. There was this guy, and I won't name names or anything, but like basically they were all like, at this time I've been posting some of my singing on one of the it was just some covers of Star songs, and they were like, "Oh hey, you have a great voice. I think we should do a duet." And I was just like, "I'm down for creating shit. Why not?" I'm like, "Can I hear your voice? Because like you say we sound good, but I don't know if we'll sound good." And I'm like, you know, I'm very musically picky, and so, but like I'm trying to talk to this guy, and then he's just like, "Oh yeah, these girls on Amino, they all love me." And I was like, "Right. So about what you messaged me about," and he was all like, oh my god, this is embarrassingly bad. But he was basically like, somehow through conversation, he's all like, "Oh, I have like cancer and I have like 6 months to live," and like, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing on the Star versus the Forces of Evil Amino? First of all. Second of all, like, what? And like that's the thing, like, I don't think he was telling the truth, honestly. That's the number one thing I always get when I tell this story. They're like, "Do you think he really did?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so, but like, I just like, it was creepy because it's like, at first he's all like, "Oh hey, let's like do this thing," and then hands off my sister. Yeah. Oh god. And like, yeah, like it was just weird because like I didn't know, how do I react to that. It's like, oh my god. And it's like, I think I just blocked him. I think that was pretty much it. I was just like, yeah, bye. What the holy hell just happened? I almost quit Amino after that. I was like, because it just made me sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh my god, ew. And then I met a really actually, it was right, that happened, and I was like, I'm quitting Amino. This is stupid. I'm never doing this again. Like, there are just a bunch of weirdos. There's not one single normal, nice person on it. Like, I was just like, ugh. I was so grossed out. I was like, ugh. And then, of course, like, and then this person started talking to me about my art on Amino, and then, like, we became friends, and then I was like, okay, yeah, you know what, I'll stay on Amino. Like, literally, it was just happenstance that this person came on, started talking to me about art, and was really cool, and I was like, okay, I won't quit Amino, I'll stay on, because this person's cool. And then I made a fool of myself with that, but I'm not telling you that story. No. No, you don't get to hear that story. So, alright, that's the end of my stream. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm gonna try to start doing this Thursdays. I hate to say this, but subscribe and hit the bell, because, and especially hit that stupid fucking bell, because apparently YouTube can't get their shit together and give people proper notifications. So, definitely do that if you're interested, and I will see you all later.